this show, we speak to marketing people, consultants, experts, leaders. Today, I invited a salesperson to see the other side of the story. Meet Mohamed Abboud, ex-IBM and currently a director of tax technology and transformation at EY. We're going to talk about sales and marketing partnership. We're going to discuss such hot topics as crypto and metaverse. This is going to be an exciting episode. Mohamed, thank you very much for passing by to record an episode this morning. How have you been?
I'm doing great, thank you. And I'm really excited and happy to be on this podcast. So thank you.
So it's interesting that I suggested to talk about non-marketing topic today.
Yeah, I think I'm lucky.
But I actually say to open it up, we're going to talk about crypto.
Yeah.
And the reason I specifically wanted to cover this topic, because I realized that in my network, I've got people and experts like you who can cover very, very hot and very, I wouldn't say trendy, but very critical topics that are coming into the region.
Yeah.
So first of all, amazing move to Director of Tax Technology and Transformation in EY.
Yeah.
An interesting role, probably.
Very interesting, honestly. I mean, coming from a purely technology background, working a lot, probably, I think 14 years with IBM.
Yeah.
And moving into an area which was a bit, I would say, unknown into tax and tax technology and how the whole digital transformation is happening in tax. So it's an eye-opener. But what I can relate to in my previous work is, I used to handle public sector.
Yeah.
And tax is somehow, a revenue generating, stream for mainly public sector. So the connection is very strong. And now I understand, much better why governments are always striving to do a lot of, digital services, making government services as easy as possible, is at the end of the day to get, the tax and tax returns and make sure, also that journey is seamless. So yeah, it's interesting move, very exciting times in tax, honestly.
I just want to get back a little bit to basics of this conversation, so people, because we get lost in the amount of information about crypto, and to be able to at least to understand where it stands.
Yeah.
Is there an opportunity? Does it require us to get any new skills? Things like that. So that's the urge of the conversation that I want to have today.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, definitely it's a hot topic, and it keeps, boiling as we go on. So it's not going to stop anytime soon. So it's going to be the hottest topic for quite some time. So yeah, happy to talk about it.
How would you evaluate the fact that one of the biggest crypto exchange platforms established here in the region? Is it going to have an impact on finance industry, fintechs?
Yeah,
please.
I mean, there's so many signals that this new office that opened for Binance in UAE. I mean, it shows that UAE as a country, from laws and legislations perspective, from an infrastructure perspective, from government vision perspective, it's ready. Everything is being set up for UAE to be the global hub for, cryptocurrencies and crypto exchanges. So it's a very huge, leapfrog into the whole, now what they call it, the metaverse, So definitely having such a big, cryptocurrency wallet here in UAE would expand a lot of investors to come here and probably, invest more in cryptocurrencies. The laws and legislations, which is, somehow has a lot of, impact on the growth of cryptocurrency.
Do we have the laws and legislations that support, the development and, anything that is happening with crypto in the region? Do we have the legislation?
Not yet. but it's in the making. So because it's too complex, right? So the whole concept of cryptocurrencies is based on decentralization. So it's not like you have everything, centralized in a, let's say, central bank or a central wallet, and you can just regulate it and monitor it. So the whole concept of cryptocurrency is that decentralization, and that anyone with the right credentials can just own cryptocurrencies and start trading with it or buying stuff with it. So that's where I think the whole laws and legislations are facing some difficulties to get it right. Because if you don't get it right, then it's going to be difficult to cope with what's happening in the crypto world. Yeah, so it's very challenging.
What can we sort of buy with crypto? Or is crypto more of a stock concept? So let's look at it from basics.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mix of both.
Yeah.
So if you go back to when crypto started, it was after the financial crisis that happened in 2008. It started in US, and then it became a worldwide financial crisis. A lot of people lost their money. A lot of people went out of jobs. A lot of people, had huge amounts of loans and debts and all that. So that idea came up after that crisis. So it's a shout out, or like people are screaming to the governments and saying, you know what, we don't want to be just governed and centralized, and if someone makes a mistake, we all have to pay because of that. So that decentralization concept came in, and blockchain is the technology where all the cryptocurrencies, are being utilized on that platform. And the concept of blockchain is, it's a decentralized ledger where everything stays there. It's a ledger. It's like any ledger for any, corporate. And everyone can see what's happening and the transactions and all that. So it was in 2008. Probably I'll ask anyone, in 2013 or 14, they probably started hearing about, cryptocurrency. So you can see how long it took to start gaining momentum. There's a lot of hype around, what's it being used for, what they used to buy with it, the unethical stuff that happened with it. So I don't want to go into that because, we crossed that stage. It was mainly used in the beginning in the dark web and the deep web, right? So to buy, I don't want to say, but some illegal stuff and all that. So that's how they started exchanging, so you buy something physical with a cryptocurrency. It was started in the deep web and the dark web.
So for me, what's critical, what you mentioned here, have we already passed that stage?
Yes.
Are we already in a safe environment with crypto?
Definitely.
So we can definitely operate this term as a totally official term for, creating some financial operations.
Yeah, so definitely. I mean, we passed that stage, but that's where, governments are still in a dilemma, right? So they want to govern this because if they don't, it could go in a bad way. Mm-hmm. And we've seen it. And at the same time, they want to keep it decentralized because that's its purpose, or that's why it was created. So it's a quite a dilemma, and that's why, laws and legislations have not yet been very crystal clear and, published around, how to regulate the whole cryptocurrency. But now, definitely you can even in Dubai, you can buy a cup of coffee with your cryptocurrency. Some real estate are accepting, cryptocurrencies. Some car showrooms, you can buy, cars with cryptocurrency. I mean, definitely this will increase and increase until it becomes, a digital currency.
It's interesting and very impressive how fast it moves, right? And it makes me think every day, do I need to buy a crypto tomorrow, today. So do I need to invest, and do I need to start understanding how it works, etc.? So do you think the big brands like Microsoft, Amazon, will they move to create their own cryptocurrencies, or do you think there will be any tendency for small, big businesses create their own cryptocurrencies? Is this what decentralization means?
I mean, creating cryptocurrencies, like we've seen, like football clubs, right? Like Paris Saint-Germain, Manchester United, Real Madrid. They created their own cryptocurrencies. But when you think about a cryptocurrency, you need to think about the use case behind it.
Yeah.
Like, why is it being created? So for actual, everyday transactions, or for buying, some services, as I said, a cup of coffee. So the daily stuff we all buy with, our currency currently. I don't think like Microsoft or others, would probably want to have a cryptocurrency for that. There is enough cryptocurrencies that you can, exchange assets for. So you buy, I don't know, SaaS software from, any software vendor with a Bitcoin or with Ethereum. It depends on what you would like to or what they accept as a currency. But yeah, I mean, the use case for every company to have their own currency, it depends. Mm-hmm. What's the use case? So for me, I mean, I would advise everyone who wants to invest or buy a cryptocurrency, just really look at the use case. What is it made for? What type of exchange that will happen for that cryptocurrency? And how can you transact with it? So what assets you can buy? So yeah, definitely that's...
Which brings me to a question. Say, how does the growth of crypto impact the skills that the professionals need to have on, let's say, corporate or business levels?
Yeah.
So what does it impact? Does it require some new skills to come into the picture? Does it require a deep knowledge of cryptocurrencies and how it works? So the finance, let's say, finance knowledge and finance heritage can help a lot here.
I mean, it depends how you look at it, but definitely from a talent skills perspective. And if I don't just focus on cryptocurrency and focus on the bigger picture, which is, we're already living in and it's coming in really, really strong and fast, which is the metaverse, right? So metaverse is happening. It's real. It's been happening, but now it's gaining more momentum from corporations and governments.
How do you feel that? So just to get in a little bit into a metaverse, because I understand these things they're all interconnected anyway.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're all interconnected. So metaverse is so the Matrix, right? The movie where he chooses which pill he wants to take, and there's the real world, and then there's the Matrix. Mm-hmm. So it's somehow the same, right? So metaverse is like a virtual world. Where you can, do whatever you do in your real world, but in a virtual world. So if you look at it from, the different steps or the perspectives, I think there's some studies say that, metaverse by 2025 would be an $800 billion market.
Which is quite soon.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's actually flying so fast.
So it's a big market because it requires, collaboration between a lot of corporates, right? Yeah. So you have the infrastructure part where, the technology, cloud vendors come in. You have the devices, where, Oculus and others like Google Glass. And so all those will also need to be part of the ecosystem. Then you have, the metaverse creators or the digital creators, that create the actual, and you have, I think in corporate we miss. Sorry, I'm moving, but because as you said, it's so
It's all
interconnected.
interconnected.
Exactly.
Yeah, we need to understand the full picture and why it's time and why it's now.
So one of the main skills that is missing in most corporations is the gaming skills.
I agree with you.
Gaming is a world on its own that has, adopted very futuristic technologies, and people who are gaming have, gathered a lot of skills on those technologies that corporate has missed out on them. So if you take, the goggles, the virtual reality, augmented reality, the actual, the whole metaverse, it's in gaming since long time.
I know, like Minecraft, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Minecraft and, all those other games. I mean, so definitely that is a skill that we need to really start, grabbing. And that's where youth play a big role.
It's interesting that you're saying this just straight, because we have always... I've always been looking at gaming as something like you have to control with the kids, etc. But I've recently realized when I talked to my 7-year-old son, and not necessarily about a Minecraft, but he's talking about the worlds that he has discovered through this game in the terms and in the dynamics that I am trying it difficult to understand, because he's talking about totally different sort of things that are happening within the within this universe and the world on its own, right? And that is the understanding of the concepts. I think that's where it starts. And it's interesting that also I recently came across. I think there was an advertising on LinkedIn, one of the content jobs or something like that, and they were requiring the gaming skills there. Yes. So I dropped because I was like, no. Definitely, I have to be honest with myself. Yeah. Say so that it's interesting.
Very
How
interesting.
do we gain it? How do we gain the gaming skills?
I mean,
we learn from the kids.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back in time, we used to people used to tell us, whatever you do, if you want to explain what you do, you should be able to explain it to a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old, right? So. Now I think it's the opposite. So now we need to understand from a 7-year-old what he does, right? Because he's creating the future. So if we can't understand a 7-year-old in his games, then we have to upskill, right? So now it's the opposite. So we need to upskill. We need to gain more experience, more knowledgeable about the whole gaming and the whole metaverse. And because honestly speaking, it's in every house. And if it's not, it's going to come into every house. We're seeing cities like, South Korea, Japan, and Dubai, with Dubai municipality. I mean, all those municipalities, they've already created a Dubai version in the metaverse, or Tokyo version, in the metaverse in Japan. So you can actually acquire assets, you can buy land with cryptocurrency. So
it makes it totally logical now.
Exactly.
To my question, what can you buy with the cryptocurrencies?
Yeah. So definitely, I mean, that's another world also. The word interconnected that you used is spot on, right? So that takes us into NFTs. People are buying art using, cryptocurrencies, and they're keeping it. And so it's really a world that we're living in, but instead of, transforming every 100 years, which with the, industrial revolution, and then after, I don't know how many years, another revolution. Now it's the metaverse, and it's just the pace of revolutions is so fast, right? So, I mean, if you think about it from a workforce perspective and skills, I mean, again, I would say people say 70% or 60% of the jobs have not been created yet in the next, 5 years. So maybe we will have, I don't know, a chief gaming officer, on
Could
the
be.
C-suite. I think 90% of the jobs
Are going to change
are going to
or
change.
transform
Yeah,
somehow.
or be created.
Yeah.
It's that massive, honestly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think it just makes me think that I will have to start a podcast dedicated to metaverse only,
Yes.
because this conversation is so broad. I
Definitely.
mean, there's so many dimensions that you can approach it, and I think people will start educating themselves and upskilling themselves,
Yes.
and will get more and more expertise in in how it works and how it can bring more opportunities for business and for
sure.
societies as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully we will get some benefits out of it, like socially. I'm always trying to protect that social aspect.
I mean, definitely any technology, has its pros and cons, right? So, metaverse could connect people that are living, far away. So you can connect with your friend in Australia and you feel like you're sitting just on the same table and you're here in Dubai. So that's the, upside. The downside is maybe the physical touch, the physical presence. So yeah, everything needs to be, balanced. And definitely we need, like we have, AI ethics boards, to make sure AI is unbiased and all that. So we need to have such boards, such, frameworks around, the metaverse, the whole, visual, virtual world that we are living in and we're definitely going to live in. So definitely that's an area of governments coming in, boards, regulations and all that. We need some sort of guidance, I would say, or to make sure we just don't leave the real world and just live in the virtual.
Are those conversations, just to close probably that part, are those conversations a bit about ethical AIs and about ethical virtual world? Are they happening, and what is the progress? Just probably.
Yeah, I mean, from an AI perspective, definitely. I mean, all the big tech companies have signed up on ethical AI behaviors. We all saw and when the pandemic hit, a lot of companies just stopped their R&D and probably also their selling their face recognition software, which is relies on AI basically. So yeah, I mean, they're all being cautious, making sure there's no bias in AI decisions, or when AI comes up with some algorithms and give you the results. So yeah, that's definitely an area I can say that we've taken care of, right? So the big companies are mature enough, the governments were mature enough to make sure all that is governed. So on the metaverse perspective, I think, it's a catch up. Mm-hmm. So because of the pace of technology and all what's happening, governments and big companies are catching up with that because, and as you said, it's a lot of interconnections between a lot of different, technologies and firms and all that. So 5G is going to revolutionize the metaverse, right? So computing at the edge, all these type of things, cryptocurrencies, AI. So it needs, I would say, a broader look from bias regulations, laws, and that's where tax comes in again, right? So
yeah, so returning back to the tax and how it is going to impact that particular area. So is there a law and legislation? Are you comfortable?
Definitely, I mean, there will be. I'm sure there will be, because currently a lot of governments, a lot of corporates, they're losing a lot of money because, things are happening on the metaverse or on crypto world and they just can't tax it, right? Or they cannot, put some sort of, fees because it's just not there yet. And the everyday delay, every day the governments lose money. So definitely there needs to be some sort of a taxation framework around the whole metaverse. And if they don't act now, I think, as I said, every day they're losing money. So they have to act quick. And that's where, tax people need to elevate, need to skill up, and just don't think of the regular tax work as, an accounting or a finance thing. It's much more than that now. If they're not tech savvy.
Exactly. You have to be technological.
Yeah, definitely. You have to have a tech savvy angle of thinking of these things. Take retail. I mean, you and me are going to start shopping using goggles, right?
Totally.
Checking out everything, the size and all that. And we're going to pay in the metaverse. How's tax going to be calculated? Tax is complex, right? And then you're in Dubai, you like something you want to buy from Paris, and you have, cross-border taxes, you have customs, you have, all the fees that come in when you ship from outside into the country. I mean, it's a journey, very exciting journey, but I feel that, not a lot of, I would say, corporates or governments are really taking this, they're taking it seriously, but not as fast as they should be. So they need to hype up the game, I would say.
So probably, content like that can create a little more hype in terms of, not hype, but a little more sense of urgency that it has to be addressed. I like addressing and I like speaking about topics that are very, very hot, but at the same time, probably not oversaturated yet in terms of the expertise over there.
Yeah.
That's great. So one more question probably about crypto / metaverse. What is the next, or what is the current big crypto in your opinion? Just out of curiosity, not in terms of the advice to anybody, but probably.
I mean, again, I think I touched a little bit on it. I mean, it depends on the use case, right? So, in my personal opinion, Bitcoin is like gold. So any currency that comes up needs to be backed up. I'm talking in the physical world, right? So the dollar is backed up by gold, the dirham, everything is somehow backed up with a physical, asset. So all the other currencies, that's in my opinion, all other currencies are backed up by Bitcoin, or they, it's like the gold. So definitely Bitcoin is here to stay. Bitcoin is the basis, I would say, of cryptocurrencies. But a lot of the use cases that are coming up in all the different or the new currencies are very interesting. They have a huge potential. I mean, Bitcoin, of course, but keep looking and keep searching for the use case again.
The use case. Yeah. Okay. What is the backup of a new crypto, let's say, coming in? How does platforms like Binance, for example, help people to work with crypto?
I mean, definitely it's how user-friendly it is, how much information they give about, each currency and the use case. And how easy it is to get verified, and then, deposit some cash, some money. How easy is it to withdraw the money? I mean, it's more towards, the user friendliness, and of course, how many, currencies they can bring on board and or partner with or be able to trade with. And definitely, which is key. And again, I say key, which is the trust in the wallet, right? So we've heard a lot of scams happened. Suddenly a wallet just disappears and millions and millions of dollars just, go out, and people get into very unpleasant situations. So some people took loans to invest in crypto.
Yeah.
And, it's just the wallet disappeared, and then their lives get really affected. So make sure any wallet or any crypto you invest in, who they are and how trustworthy they are, and hopefully nothing will happen. But yeah, I mean, trust is one of the key things, and how many users they have. It's like any reviews. It's like any commodity you're trying to
So
buy.
basically, the platform helps people to start with the crypto right away,
Yes.
like an end user like me. So what do I need to do if tomorrow I want to start?
You can download any cryptocurrency wallet. As I said, research. Don't just follow anyone you see on social media, or do your own research. Go read about them, know about them, see how many users they have, read the reviews of current users, ex-users, just go and read and see how localized they can be, whether they accept dirham or only dollars, and, do your own research. And then once you settle on a certain, wallet, you download the app, you upload your documents. It's mainly, your Emirates ID, your bank account. Once you're verified, you're ready to go. So you deposit some money. I advise, just
not to start with a big one, start playing with something small.
Put some money, buy some crypto, and it's the intention, why you want to do it. Don't think, again, going back to social media, we see a lot of Instagrammers, a lot of Facebookers, TikTokers, they live in a very lavish world, very rich world where, supercars, yachts, villas, traveling the world, and all of them say they're cryptocurrency investors, and follow me so I can make you rich, and all. Honestly, guys, just it's Instagram, it's Facebook,
Don't believe anything you've seen with your own eyes.
Exactly.
Isn't it? So critical thinking. I'm always coming back to this very, very important skill. So you need to be, you need to think critically every time. Yeah.
Think critical, start small, test the water. Don't
overbelieve
or overthink, or don't. So crypto will not make you rich overnight, right? It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of dedication. Some of these guys are true, they really worked hard. Mm-hmm. They had sleepless nights in front of, screens, checking how it's, it's going up, it's going down. I sell, I buy new currency, and their network is very strong. So the closer you are to the original network that started the whole Bitcoin, the more information you will get. The early you can invest in new projects where they start with very minimal amounts of dollars, and then you can see suddenly it's like 200, 300. So they bought a lot when it was cheap, and now it's it's expensive. So they sell on high, and that's how they make money. So just trust me, guys. If you're investing in crypto just because you've seen some people on social media that became super rich and they're 21 years old, don't invest, right? So for me, I would put some money that I don't need whatsoever. It's not savings. No, it's savings of savings of savings. So money that I wouldn't cry or be in trouble or panic if I lose it.
Yeah.
Put it in a wallet, keep it there, and I would say every month, put another amount, cap it to $50, because it's very volatile now. Mm-hmm. It's very geopolitical. Mm-hmm. There's no economics behind it. There's no that secret formula. Any country says I'm not adopting crypto, the prices crash. One country says I'm gonna adopt crypto, it just booms. So it's still very volatile, very geopolitical. But I would, it's here to stay. That's
Absolutely,
for sure.
yes.
Right?
That's why we're talking about it, probably.
It's here to stay. It's very serious. It's gonna, be the mode of transactions and moving assets and owning assets. So definitely, think about it. Go rewind what we're discussing, and
I know it's
go back to basics.
Yeah, the takeaway from here it's probably it's time to master those skills that will allow you, let's say, in several years, or maybe like you mentioned 2025 one of the milestones that we're already targeting, right? So but to be able by 2025 be part of this metaverse, you need to master those skills. You need to understand how it works, what can you buy,
100%.
how can you exchange. So it's probably high time for people to upskill themselves,
100%.
get whatever they need to understand how it works, not to lose the game later on.
You're spot on. If you're not on it, go now, be on it. Start small, as you said, upskill, learn, see how the whole world that we will be living in, how it's going to operate. If you're not tech savvy, I think you should start to learn
At least
about
understanding what blockchain is, correct?
I mean, really the basics, right? So definitely technology is here to stay, and it's taking over. It started very slowly, but now the pace is unbelievable. So if you're, I don't want to say in the dinosaur age, but like if you're still not tech savvy and you think, I know, accounting very well, or I know this skill very well, trust me, you really need to hype the game, and now it's the right time. Just play around, ask some, millennials, ask some, youth around how to, buy a Bitcoin, and just, learn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's time to learn. The more skills you gain, the better you will be in the next 2 to 3 years.
Absolutely.
Or else you're not going to be in the game.
Yeah. Thank you for actually, talking about this topic in a very simple way, in a very, I would say, user-friendly way in terms of, I don't know if there's a lot of theory behind nowadays, but at least I know there are, different financial dynamics that we probably need to take into consideration. But talking about it in simple words, I think helps a lot.
Yeah.
And thanks for, being that guest who can talk about it in simple words.
No, thank you so much. I hope I was, helpful.
Very helpful, yes. A lot of value, a lot of thinking for me. I mean, I'll definitely try and explore different platforms, play around with crypto.
Sure. Just, go explore. And again, thank you so much for you. I think this platform is amazing. And, it's, as you said, the really basics way or like very casual way of bringing in very serious topics, very enhanced, discussions around the different technologies and the different, disruptions that are happening, whether it's in all different sectors, marketing, sales, corporations, and all that. So
that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring it casually.
Exactly.
Because there are a lot of things that are happening. People are reading a lot of content, so why don't we discuss that?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So thank you so much, and I'm very pleasurable to be here.
Brilliant.